Hi there, this is Mr. Pollard, and in this class we will be learning about an ethical reasoning model called principle-based ethics. So there's a variety of ethical reasoning models, but in hospitals and medical research facilities, they have ethics boards that use a particular model of ethical reasoning to evaluate ethical problems. It's called principle-based ethics. The key thing of principle-based ethics are four ethical principles that are considered when you're looking at an ethical question. So the first ethical principle is the principle of autonomy. What autonomy is just that an ethical action is ethical if it respects a person's right to make their own choices about what they think and what they want to do. So, for example, in this country, we allow people to smoke cigarettes, even though we know that they cause cancer. And so, um, allowing cigarettes to be legal and people to have access to them is an example where we're granting people autonomy, or granting them to make choices, even though sometimes those choices uh, aren't in the best interest of their health. The second principle, so the written part is a definition is to acknowledge a person's right to make choices, to hold views, and to take actions based on personal values and beliefs. The second principle is called justice. Justice, in an ethical reasoning standpoint, is about being fair, and in particular, it's about making sure that when a decision is made, it's ethical if the benefits from the decision and the burdens from the decision are fairly distributed. So this is an image of a hospital waiting room, an ER waiting room. And right now in our country, there are places where you go into hospitals, your local hospital, and you have to wait a super long time to get access to medical care. The medical care you receive is not the same wherever you go once you receive it. And so this would be an example of where the benefit of getting access to healthcare is not distributed in a way that seems very equal. And so some people have much more benefit than others. Some people bear a lot more burden than others. So a definition here would be that you're following justice if you're treating others fairly, in particular where you're distributing the benefits and the burdens in a decision fairly. The third principle is called beneficence. This is pretty straightforward. It just means your action is ethical if it provides benefits, if it does good for people. So an action is a good choice, an action if it does good. So here, a person's receiving medicine, and so they're providing benefits to persons that contribute to their welfare. And the last ethical principle is called non-maleficence, which just means do no harm. And so this means that when we can anticipate that an action is going to cause harm, we have an obligation to avoid doing that action. Now, in this picture, this poor little girl is obviously in some pain and taking on some harm. They're putting, generally, we would say, like poking a needle into a child's arm. Hey, we know that's going to cause some harm. And so we would, in this case, not be following non-maleficence. However, I think we know that there's some benefit that we're giving across there as well. So those are the four ethical principles, and we'll come back in the next video to kind of explain how to apply these to a question.